All right, any day now. Okay, so welcome to everybody that's also joining us now on YouTube. We're going to go ahead and get started here. And hopefully everybody can see my screen. Let's go ahead and get going. Again, this is ALG 101, Next Generation Networking and Value Proposition. It is the first class in our ALG series. Again, Advanced Lead Generation. This is a 52-week program. We don't meet 52 times. We meet, I don't know if there's 37 or 38, because we take the Monday holidays, Martin Luther King Day, we won't meet, President's Weekend, probably the week of Easter, Labor Day, Memorial Day, all those. Again, this is made for advanced agents. Agents, you should be making $100,000 a year or more to take this course. You don't have to be, but that's who it was designed for, to get you to that next level. We want you making $400, $500, $1 million a year. I have agents that work for me that are in those numbers, and they've taken these, some of these trainings. Again, a lot of these trainings are new, so we're just launching this, and we're excited about it. So let's go ahead and talk next generation networking. So the first thing I want to do is put the spotlight on your business. Which phase of the sales process is most important? Number one, network generation, prospecting and marketing. Number two, lead generation and conversion. Number three, active listing and or doing a home search. The offer or negotiation inspection process, the closing process, or closing and payday. Many people are going to jump and say, closing and payday, yeah, that's the most important day. Well, it's not. None of these things, number 2 through number 6, will not happen if you don't do number 1. Number 1 is the basis to success in real estate. You need to be generating new clients by networking, by prospecting, and by marketing. So, how consistently do you spend time prospecting for leads? Unfortunately, most realtors, and this is why most realtors that stay in the business that do okay, don't have the steady income that they would like. And you guys don't have to answer this, but ask yourself, which of these three am I? Am I inconsistent? I prospect for leads when I'm not working with buyers and sellers. This is the biggest thing I see with agents that go up and down, the yo-yo effect. They prospect like crazy. They're making their calls. They're making their contacts. They're attending networking events. They pick up a client, 2 clients, 3 clients, and they stop. They go through. They spend the next 2 months working with these people, get them in. And then they say, wait a minute, I got nothing to do. And what do? They go back to this. And it goes up and down, and they spike. Moderately consistent. I have prospecting time blocked in my calendar, but quite often I don't get to it because I get distracted by something else. Something I taught you all in boot camp that's very, very important. Everything in your life has an advocate. If you guys are married and have kids, right? Your husband or your wife, they're an advocate for your time. Honey, can we do a date night? Can we go here? Can we go shopping? Can we this? Can we that? Your kids, can you take me to baseball practice? Can you come to my recital? Blah, 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 blah. Everything in your life, your broker. Can you come to our staff meeting every Tuesday? Whatever. But anyway, they're an advocate for your time. Prospecting has no advocate. You have to be the advocate for prospecting's time. You have to be the one that says 8 in the morning till 10 in the morning. I'm making this time up. 8 in the morning till 10 in the morning is sacred time for me. I don't care if the house is burning down around me. I am going to stay on and make these calls until I reach my number or whatever it is. And I'm not going to check my email. I'm not going to answer the incoming call. I'm not going to look at the text that just came through, no matter how tempted you are. That's the person that's highly consistent, does those things. They not only block the time, but they block their life. They block everything out to make time to prospect. And they do it every day. those people always have a pipeline of leads. I put the pipeline process, and I put real estate. I explain this in the beginning courses. I compare it to an assembly line for a car. I once went in for an oil change. Guy, he said, "Hey, there's a new BMW. I have BMW convertibles at the time. But I have new one coming out. You can be one of the first people in the country. You can special order it." I think I was the sixth person in the country with this car. I thought that was cool, whatever. Well, I didn't get the car the next day, right? It had to go through the whole process of being ordered and go through the assembly line. Real estate's the same way. Well, and it was cool. They have this app that you can watch where your car was. That was really cool. Anyway, what's the point? The point is this. If I turned on my little thing to watch where my car was in the assembly process and there was no raw materials there, nobody was continuing to put steel there, radios, windows, steering wheels, seats, blah, 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 transmissions, what would happen? Somewhere along the assembly line, process would stop because, hey, I don't have a steering wheel to put in. Same thing in real estate. You should have people in every point, and every person in your assembly line should be working. So let me give you an example. If you haven't talked to your home inspector in a while, you haven't talked to your title person in a little while, guess what? There's probably raw materials that haven't been being put in the factory. Why? Because you're not making your calls every day. You have to show up with steel every day and radios and whatever. And that steel and those radios are people and contacts. If your number is to reach 8 people a day, you need to reach people eight people a day, 40 people a week consistently. And you'll find that your pipeline smoothly continues and that your revenue stream is smooth. How systematized is my marketing? Again, ask yourself, are you unsystematic? Do you just put info in your contacts, have a bunch of sticky notes, have people in your phone, but you find it hard to keep track of them? Are you moderately? Do you have all your contacts in a CRM? Maybe you've set up some marketing plans and communicate with them. Are you highly systematized? I have automatic marketing plans that no matter what, go. And I stay top of mind with all my contacts. I have a reminder. I teach this early too. And this is important. I have a reminder that every time I talk to somebody, the last thing I do is I set an appointment. So if it's a sphere of influence, I teach you to call your sphere of influence 4 times a year. I talked to them today on December 29th. I go January, February, March. March 29th, I write an appointment to call that person again. That's being highly organized and having everything in a systemized system, in a system that is automatic. Okay. I also write, by the way, just for you guys, I write what I talked about, because if I'm talking to 1,000 people over the course every 3 months or whatever that number is, right, I'm not going to remember those conversations. So what are the risks of inconsistent prospecting and not having a system for your marketing? It's very simple. It's inconsistency. And you see the up and down, up and down, up and down. Look at somebody that's consistent. As I said, it might go up and down a little bit. You're going to have better months than others, and that's going to happen. I mean, that's just part of our business. But it's going to be a lot more level. So the end game is to be a next generation networker. You need to build your business both for today and for tomorrow. Are you not working with clients right now? Well, guess what? You need now business. What's now business? When I teach this in our intro classes in the Step Ahead Bootcamp, I spend most of my time talking about prospecting, because prospecting is now business. If I call a for sale by owner, if I call an expired listing, if I call a referral of somebody that, I know that somebody said they want to buy, they want to move now, or they want to be a first-time home buyer. What do I know? I know they want to buy now, and it's going to get me business. It's going to happen now. You guys are more advanced. You should have now business, right? And if you don't, because you've been doing this a while, you can get this up and running very quickly. But the other thing you need to be doing is working towards your future business. Remember that in real estate, everything's 2 months out. So I had an agent back 2 2 years in a row he did this. He had $100,000 in commission come in 2 years in a row in the month of June. And people said, man, Leo's really busy. And I said, I don't know if Leo's busy today. I know he was busy 2 months ago. That's what real estate is, right? We're always 2 months ahead. When we plan when we go through how to write farming and whatever else and marketing, we should always be 2 months ahead, right? Same thing here. Our business is 2 months ahead. You need to be thinking ahead. You need to be thinking about the business that you're going to do in 2 months, 4 months, 6 months, a year from now, and sometimes even 2 years from now. That person that says they're going to retire at the end of 2027, right? They're in your pipeline. Build that future business. You do that by marketing. Having a good blend of prospecting and marketing. A newer agent, or somebody that's low on business right now, should be heavier on prospecting. If you've got that prospecting going and you get that rolling, start picking up your marketing. So you're getting now and future business. Prospecting, marketing, and a diversification maximize business opportunities. So here we'll look at this little graphic here. Your sphere of influence, right? You're going to be, you got that in the middle. And you're prospecting and you're marketing. Who's prospecting? Prospecting is your for sale by owners, your expired listings. Prospecting driven open houses. We don't go sit at an open house, eat cookies and drink water and play on the computer. We make sure we do prospecting driven open houses. If you're not familiar with that, see me or see one of our trainings where we actually teach that. Future business. What's that? Farming, social media, internet leads. I mentioned in the last class, but when I first partnered with a guy, when I moved my company into an ERA franchise, partnered with a guy, and the first thing he wanted to do was put ads on social media, and I had to explain to him, these are long-term ads. Yeah, you're going to get somebody that's going to look to sell now or buy now, but he ended up within a couple of years, he had over 3,000 people in his Moxie at that point. I think it was Zap of the day, and then he moved to Moxie. And he said, it's the darndest thing, because you can stalk them, see who's opening, who's looking at your things and whatever else. He said, it's the darndest thing. I'll have somebody in there that I've called this, that, whatever, and forgotten about them. 3 years from now, all of a sudden I see they're going again and I give them a call or they call me and they're ready to buy or sell. They're long-term leads. But he says, oh, I'm going to do these social media ads and get people right now. Guess what? People put stuff, they'll fill out a form on social media at 1:00 in the morning when they maybe had a pop or two in them. And yeah, it's something they want to do, but they're not all people that are saying, I want to move tomorrow. So don't think that that's going, I'm going to buy a Zillow lead. I'm not telling you not to do that, but I'm telling you, don't expect those to bring you the leads for today. The leads you're going to get for today are doing the tried and true for sale by owners, expired listings, open houses, and your sphere of influence, which brings you both. So working in your now business to get now business. Again, speak with scripts. I have given you hundreds of scripts, and you have these scripts. If you don't have them, again, they're on our website. They're in the trainings. You can download them. I always tell people, either it depends if you're a physical person, meaning you like to print things, buy a binder, put them in a binder. I've got a couple agents that got binders like this thick. Or if you're a digital person like I am, I have them all by category. I have all my sphere of influence in one. I have all my for sale by owner, my expired, and I have those scripts there. I do print certain ones when we go to make phone calls in our conversation mastery. If I'm going to sit there and model it, I'll print the for sale by owner one sheet and have it there in front of me just so I have it as a reference. I haven't memorized, but just so I have a reference in front of me. It's like a security blanket, right? But speak with your scripts, sphere of influence, social media, FSBOs, expireds, farming. Working with your future business, right? Work on your future business, your financial goals. Set financial goals, set personal and professional goals and how you're going to get there. People are like, oh, I'm reading this at the right time, the beginning of the new year. No, I actually would teach this, and you guys should be writing your business plan, again, 2 to 3 months ahead of time. We do business planning in my office every October. Why? So that when January comes, everybody's this week, oh, I got to write my business plan for next year, between Christmas and New Year, right? This is a perfect time to be teaching this. This is when people go through this, right? No, stop. You should have had this done 2 months ago so that when you need to say, I'm going to do postcards, your postcards aren't going to be out now until February or March. Always be 2 months ahead. Your plan, you're systematic. Your best day ever. Plan the time that you're going to need to hit those goals. If I have to talk to 8 people a day, I need 2 to 3 hours. Put that time aside. Can we go see houses at 9 o'clock in the morning? I'm sorry, I have an appointment at 9, but I can do 10:30 with you. Sacred time to make sure you're reaching your goals of making those calls. Don't let anything get in the way. There's a closing. I can't do a closing at 9 o'clock. I can do one at 11. Push back, guys. You're the advocate for that time. Make sure that you stay top of mind. Again, I start to show my age. When I first started training, I was younger, right? It's about 40 now that I'm 50 something. I use older stuff, but if you guys ever saw the movie Coming to America, and there's a funny scene where Eddie Murphy's character says, when you think of garbage, think of Akeem, because he was taking her trash out. Same thing here. When people think of real estate, I want a picture of you to come to their mind. If every person that's in your sphere of influence and every person, and then you grow, and every friend and everything, when they think of real estate, if you come to mind, you're going to be successful. And you need to be organized with your CRM and stay top of mind. How do you do that with a sphere of influence? You call them 4 times a year, once on their birthday, if you know it. How do you stay top of mind with a new client? You get in touch with them multiple times. We talk about in advertising, it's called anchoring. You see an ad, Super Bowl's coming up. You'll see an ad on the Super Bowl. There's millions of dollars they spent, and they spent $2-3 million to have a 30-second ad in addition to what they spent to produce it. You don't just see that ad once and it goes away. Then it's like every other ad on TV for a while. Then it goes back and they do a shorter segment of it and whatever, and they taper off. You have to have the same plan. Get in touch. Let that person know you're there for them. Let that person, know who you are and get to know you. And again, when they think of real estate, to think of you. Winning it with communication. The consistency of your communication will shape your relationships. Tell everyone you're in real estate all the time, and then share your value. Every time you speak to someone, especially those sphere of influence calls, if you call somebody 4 times a year and just do my 3-3 rule, if you're not familiar with my 3-3 rule, if you're in person, you hand them 3 business cards, you tell them 3 things. If you're on the phone, you tell them 3 things. Real hard. Make sure you're writing this down. I'm kidding. Your name, that you're a realtor, and that if they or anybody they know has a real estate need, they need to get in touch with you. If I called you 4 times a year and just said that, what would end up happening? You'd hit the decline button. We live in the age of call screening, right? But if every time I share something of value and share my value and my expertise and tell you something that's interesting, does it always have to be real estate related? No. Hey, man, have you checked out the new pizza place that opened in town? Here in Florida, that's a tough one. We don't have good pizza here. But, somebody from New York just came down and opened a pizza place. It's the best pizza I've had since I lived in New Jersey. And I call the person with that. Or I call them and say, hey, they're doing a fireworks on New Year's Eve, or whatever's going on, and give them something in addition to just the 3-3 rule. They're now going to look forward to my call. Or maybe it's somebody you get conversations with and they love to talk about their kids. Hey, I was just calling. I know you told me when we talked in September your son was getting ready to play football. How did his football season go? Oh, what's he doing next? Oh, good. He's getting ready for basketball season. When you call again, follow up about that. Figure these things out so you bring value to your conversation and that it's consistent. That's how you win with communication. Your communication is the relationship that's going to bind you with your sphere of influence and with people. And with your new clients. The consistency of your communication is going to shape your relationships. Understand who they are too. Or is this somebody that's going to do business with you? If it's not, how do I cement this relationship more so that I know they'll choose me? We just talked about this with sellers. You go to a seller's house and you know they're going to use you, or maybe they're going to use a realtor, but it may not be you. You have to figure that out with people. They may do business with you. They may refer you. Make sure that if they're not somebody that you know is going to do, and we talked about this in working with buyers for success, an A buyer, a B buyer, a C buyer, and whether they'll use you or not, it's very, very important to understand that. Where are they in this list, and how do I move them from being somebody that maybe will refer me or maybe will use me to being somebody that will use me. And of course, we also talked about, what if I have somebody that will never use me? So I call my friend and their wife is a realtor. What do? Purge them from your list. Don't waste your time. Their son's a realtor. They're not going to use you. Make personal connections. I kind of really already went through this talking about like the football and the basketball, but make personal connections. People will give you their business when they have a real estate need and actively talk about your services and refer you if they feel connected to you. They'll become your advocate, and that's what you want. You want these little marketing people out there. That's what they are. They're little advertisers. They're little walking billboards for you if you build these relationships the right way. Never give up. Consistency in your communication will shape your relationships. Again, this is what I see when people struggle or they fail in real estate, is they give up. And a lot of them have been climbing this mountain and they're almost to the top of the mountain and they're just about, and then they just stop. You got to get to that mountain and let the ball roll down the other side, push it up and let it roll down. How do you do that? By staying consistent. When you don't communicate consistently, what happens? They forget about you. Somebody else comes in and steals your thunder. That's why farming's so important. They get people to farm and they go crazy for 6 months, 7 months, 8 months. I didn't get anything out of this. No, you got to farm in there for a year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, and keep that communication going. If not, they'll forget who you were. Yeah, I got this postcard about 3 months back. I don't remember who it was. All right. And they go on Zillow and find a realtor that covers their neighborhood. Systematic communication with the 3 goals. Don't risk being forgotten. You need to be memorable and stay top of mind. The first goal is, again, my 3-3 rule. Tell everybody you're in real estate, tell them who you are, that you're in real estate, and that if they or anyone they know, remember both parts of this, have a real estate need, that they should get in touch with you. Second goal, I spoke about this briefly, and we did this in previous trainings, the anchoring technique. Anchor top of mind status. Continuously communicate so that you're on their brain. You're the one they think of when they think of real estate. If you continuously communicate, they're more likely to refer you, and they're going to welcome your calls. They're going to read your emails. They're going to see your newsletter and read it. And goal 3, cultivate your raving fans. Build trust through personal connections so you are the person they call when someone they know has a real estate need. Communication equals contacts plus conversations. Contacts prioritize now business. Conversations focus on future business. So ask yourself, what are your most impactful contacts and conversations? So you contact somebody, you let them know that you're in real estate, they're a for sale by owner, you get to know them, you build the relationship, you follow my plan, my follow-up plan. If you don't have that, make sure you take FSBO training and make sure you get those documents. It teaches you how to touch these people over and over and over in a non-confrontational way. When we make the calls for sale by owners, I'm digressing, but this is important for you guys that haven't taken this training. We get appointments. I had a girl that just started with us back in the summer, and she wanted to do the calls, and she said, hey, can I come into Conversation Mastery? Will you do one for me? First call I made, I got the guy on the phone. I made an appointment for her. First one. She made 2 calls. Second call, she made a second appointment. Why? We didn't do what everybody does in real estate. They call and they become lecturers. 90% of people end up listing with a realtor. It's going to take you 12 more months longer than it will if you hire me as a realtor. If you sell your house, it's going to be 20% less than what I could sell it for, and I'm only asking for a 6% commission. Do you know what a person does when you start that conversation? They turn into a kid at Toys R Us. They cover their ears and stomp their feet and hang up the phone on you. And that's what most realtors do. Again, I'm not changing the subject here, but quickly, we teach you to become their friend and to offer them things of value. And we have that all set up. So if you haven't taken that, please get with me. Let's make sure you get that training. But that's what you're doing in the contact phase. You're letting them know who you are, that you care about them, and what you do for a living. The conversation process is where you start educating them, where you become that coach and advisor that I always talk about you being. You give them things of value, and cement yourself into a relationship. This is straight out of Century 21's site here. I'm sorry, I keep having to move you guys around on the screen because it's in the way, but I play hockey and spend a lot of time with the families of the guys on my team. They're all like second family, like a second family to me. For the first few months I was in the business, none of them knew that I was a real estate agent. I didn't feel it was appropriate to talk about my work since we're there to have fun. Then another agent talked about how her gardening club was one of her biggest sources for business. Made me think, who better to help my hockey family if they have a real estate need than me? Why would I give that up to someone else? Again, this is out of a Century 21 training, so if you've seen this before, it's because I stole it from Joanne Mangum and her group, because it really brings a point. I'm an avid boater. I've had a boat in the marina for years. I let everybody in that marina know, when you're ready to go buy a house. Guess what? The boat that was on my right, the boat that was on my left, both of those guys are now my neighbor. Guess who sold them their houses? I did. I'm an avid golfer. My golf course, I'm a member of a private club. The club actually has a directory. The first thing I did was get my stuff in their directory. When I'm out, I always remind people. I always have something that's, on my bag or near me that reminds people all the time. Actually, my golf balls, I have custom golf balls that I have. They're made by Callaway. And I lose a lot of golf balls because I stink, like everybody else, right? Whatever. My golf balls all have my real estate information on it. Social media, website, and whatever. And I tell people, they see my ball. Hey, what's that on there? Oh, there you go. And I give them one. Always remind the people around you. These are people that already know you, like you, and trust you. You're doing the same hobby. Another quick story on this. I had an agent. I always tell people to build social media groups, and we'll talk about this in a whole another training, but groups are the way to get people, by the way, because you can really build relationships. It's not a page where you're telling, it's a group where you're interacting, right? And I always tell people to do something that's hyper local. And I always tell people to do something that if it's not going to be about a town or a neighborhood, make it be about something you enjoy. I had a guy and I was skeptical. He did Tampa Bay area chess players. He's gotten so many sales from that. There aren't a ton of people in his group because anybody here play chess? I haven't played in years, but most people, it's not a huge, it's not like golf. Everybody, a lot of people golf, or a lot of people fish in Tampa. A lot of people are boaters. Not a lot of people play chess, but guess what we found out? Those people are fiercely loyal to each other. And him doing that, it has worked. So he doesn't go bragging about his groups. I brag, I've got 175,000 people in my groups, right? He might only have 1,000 or 1,500, but you know what? He's doing more sales. I'm not trying to do it, but even so, he's going to do more sales than I am with equal effort because those people are fiercely loyal to him. So let's do this. Who are you going to contact? Make your list, guys, and use 3 goals of communication to help you brainstorm your opportunities. Number 1, add to your sphere of influence. Tell everyone you meet you're in real estate and prospect daily for new business. Who am I going to call? Referrals, new friends, new vendors, new service providers, for sale by owners, expired listings, internet leads, people in your farm, open house contacts. Which sources are you going to add to your sphere? Secret answer, all of them and everybody. If you meet somebody, they need to be put in your sphere of influence and put on a follow-up plan where they get all of your correspondence that goes out by email, and your just listed, just sold, your newsletter, everything else, and you're going to call them 4 times a year. If you meet somebody in a networking event, this is kind of a sidebar, but this is really important. Collect business cards from them. People go to networking events and all they want to do is tell people about themselves, right? You ever go to these things and you're trying to tell people you're a realtor, they're trying to sell you they're a massage therapist or a chiropractor or an Amway salesman or whatever the heck they do. I don't care, guys. No, you don't care because you just want to get your word out. Be the opposite. Take interest in what they're saying. Collect their information. And the next day, Pick up the phone and call each of them as their first contact, telling them, hey, it was great meeting you at the networking event yesterday. I'd love to help you any which way I can. Join my group. And share your business stuff. I'd love to be a resource for you. If I know anybody that's looking to buy Amway or needs a chiropractor or new pizzeria or whatever it is, I'm going to refer you. And I'd love to stay in touch with you just to see how things are going and see how I can help. I'm going to give you a call again, a couple months. First of all, you're going to be the only one calling people the day after the event. And you're going to, again, what are you going to do? You're going to be using an anchoring technique. Now they're going to remember you. First of all, you were the only person that cared about them at the event. But number two, you cared enough to follow up. And you're going to add them to your sphere, building your sphere. Your sphere should be getting bigger every day. If you went to 2 listing appointments today, had a buyer appointment, and went to 4 listings or 4 closings, you'd feel pretty good about yourself. I don't want you to, because if you come home that night and you say, but I didn't put anybody new in my sphere of influence, I want you to feel like you didn't get your things accomplished that day. You should be adding new people every day. Figure out what sources are not on this list that are most impactful to you. Again, they're different for everybody. Everybody walks in different circles. What are you doing to meet new people that's working? I teach my agents Wednesday afternoons, they should call community outreach Wednesdays. If they have a downtown, go down and just meet local business owners and hang out in a coffee shop and get out around the public. Go to a networking event. What do you do? Or who do you know? Who's on your list of people you already know that don't know that you're in real estate? Or those people that are at the bottom of that list, those C people that right now you don't think, or B people, you're not 100% sure that they're going to call you, right? Like we talked about in the previous trainings. We want to know. We want all A people. Somebody I know that'll use me or recommend me. If they're a B, which means they may or may not, or C, right now they probably wouldn't, you need to move them up. Who are those people? Identify them, contact them. Let's turn them into A's. Goal number 2, anchor top of mind status. You got to be top of mind when they think of real estate, when they think of you. Continuously communicate so they're more likely to refer you and welcome your calls. You need to turn casual acquaintances into friends. Family and friends. Some of your family may not even. You got to remind them. Your past clients. Guys, there are people. So I have a realtor. She turned 80 the other day. She got her real estate license the month I was born. She's been doing this a long time. Yeah, I was born in February of 1972. That's a long time. I said, if you just called your past clients, why are you out still calling new people? Right? She holds the record in Hillsborough County, which is the county Tampa's in for you guys that aren't from here. She sold over 10,000 new constructions. 10,000. So you just call these people systematically. You're going to have more business than you ever know what to do with. She hasn't. How many past clients have you lost touch with? I'm not pointing fingers. I'm pointing them at myself. I've done it too. Stay in touch with your past clients. If you gave them good service, they're your best referral source. Why aren't we taking advantage of them? There's a survey done that said something like 86 or 88% of people said they'd use the same realtor again, but only 12% of them knew how to even contact a realtor or remembered their name. Whose fault is that? Your clients or yours? It's ours. Cold leads. Turn them into warm leads. Use the anchoring technique. Vendors, service providers. Think about it. What sources are you anchoring top of mind status with? It should be all of them. What other sources are not on this list that you are anchoring top of mind status with? How can you grow it? And who haven't you contacted in a while? And if you take my advice from this training and you get everyone that you know on a call every 4-month plan, you'll be able to cross out that bottom number. And of course, making sure every person that you meet goes on one of those plans. So let's do this. Who will I contact? Come on, guys. Let's keep this going. Number 3, cultivate raving fans. Build trust through personal connections so that you are the person they call when they are someone they know as a real estate need. Close family should already be doing this. If they're not, make sure they are. Your close friends should all be doing this. Your past clients should all be doing this. Who are your raving fans right now? Identify them. Who can I add to that? What other sources maybe aren't on this list that you personally have? I could say there's a couple people from my country club that are raving fans for me, and I appreciate it. Ask yourself, who wants to help me succeed? And who more can I get to want to help me, for me to succeed? I feel bad using this now because I thought, he's going to be around for a long time. Now I don't know with this injury, but Patrick Mahomes practices throwing a football every day. Guy's won how many Super Bowls? 3, right? Been to the playoffs up until this year, every year of his career. Just like he practices throwing a football every day, you need to practice your scripts and fine-tune your dialogue. In my office, we have a meeting every day at 8:30, 9 o'clock in the morning. We get together. We do what's called conversation mastery. Not everybody comes in the office. You don't need to go in an office. What I need you to do is find a script partner. Script partner can be anybody, anywhere. I would suggest the same time zone. So if you're at 8 o'clock and they're at 6 a.m., you're not calling them and waking them up. But point being, find somebody that you can get along with and schedule 15, 20 minutes, half hour, hour a day, depending on what your need is, and run scripts together. Practice makes perfect. Going over objections, going over the REAL that we just went through. That's our acronym for listing conversations. Going over the IICCC, which is our acronym for when we're making phone calls or meeting people, at their house or whatever else. Using those things and having these down where you don't have to keep a script in front of you, but you got it where it's second nature, using your words. Learn your scripts. Every script that I give you, or anybody else gives you for that matter, but every script that I give you, either I wrote, somebody from probably Century 21 or another training group wrote. I use a couple of those, and I use a couple that Daryl Davis, who's a world-renowned real estate and best-selling author, wrote. Okay? What do all those 3 things have in common? None of us as authors, as writers of scripts, write in your words. So I always tell people, take your script and make bullet points. I'll use the 3-3 rule script. I write that script out of the conversation to have. You need to put bullets to the right of it. Number 1, I'm going to introduce myself and number 2, I'm going to tell them I'm in real estate. Number 3, I'm going to ask them for their business. And second part of number 3 is I'm going to ask for a referral. I don't care how you do that. Just make sure the bullet points are in there and they're in your words, not mine. So write your scripts down the way you want them. Get your bullet points and get them in your head. Say them aloud 5 times. You can record yourself and listen to see how they are if you'd like. All the phones these days have little recorders on them. Burn them into your memory. Script, conversation mastery every day. Make this a part of your life, guys. You can do 15 minutes. This doesn't have to be a big commitment. Also, if you find a script partner, you're going to become friends with that person, right? You're going to have a relationship with somebody you can call. Hey, I got burned on this today. I need help with that or whatever. And they're going to do the same with you. This is a Lone Ranger sport, right? Let's not be Lone Rangers. Let's work with people. That's why we do the Thursday calls I was telling you about, to bring everybody together for this. Present your scripts without looking. What does that take? It takes repetition and practice every day. And then turn them. Adapt to personality skills. I teach this in a couple behavior classes that we have. We're going to have more in this series. I have some in the last series. You have to understand the person sitting across from you. This is why when I go on a listing appointment, I always say to you, I always have a marketing plan. I use a 4-step marketing plan that I use. Why? I might have a husband and a wife. A husband's making eye contact with me and hanging on every word I say. He's an auditory learner. The other person, maybe just reading the thing and I think they're ignoring me. No, they're a visual learner. You need to know the person in front of you. Disc profile. We'll go through and teach disc profile. We got a follow-up class for that. People with the disc profile, I'm an I. I'm a high I with a little bit of D, right? That means I'm like this, right? I'm very social, whatever. What happens if I'm sitting with somebody that's a C, which is conscientious? They're that guy that would rather be in front of a computer than talking to a human. I've got to adapt my personality to speak to them. And sometimes to multiple personalities. The old adage, opposites attract. Very true when people get married. You might have an I and a C. You got to figure out how to adapt to them. You need to adapt to the marketplace you're in. You know, when I was in New Jersey, I had two things there, and I have two things here. It's a little more pronounced in New Jersey. If we were off the islands, I from the Jersey Shore, we were off the islands, you better darn well put a suit on. When I used to teach classes, you watch my old classes or my old videos, I'm in suits. Why? That's New Jersey, man. That's that old school New York and Philadelphia. You wear a suit when you work. What happens when you go sell a house in Ocean City, New Jersey, on the beach? No, no, no. You show up dressed like you just got off the beach, right? Not in a bathing suit, but you get what I'm saying, because you're selling a lifestyle. Same thing's true here in Tampa. If I'm selling houses out by University of South Florida, like North Tampa there, where you know it's professionals, I'm not going to necessarily wear a suit in Florida. It's too stuffy, but I'm going to wear a shirt with a collar. I'm going to wear a polo shirt or a button up. What happens if I'm in Clearwater Beach? I'm going to dress with Jimmy Buffett. Heck, I might even put zinc oxide on my nose. No, I'm not going to do that crazy, right? But I'm going to dress like I'm Jimmy Buffett, because that guy that's coming down from New York wants to escape, and he wants to have this house that he comes down to escape with his family. I need to sell a lifestyle. So adapt to the marketplace that you're in. Know the marketplace you're in, and then adapt to you. What is your personality, and what's going to fit you and who you are? So learn, burn, and turn a script. Practice personalizing your script every day. Make it your own. Make it sound more professional, and stay top of mind with your sphere. I haven't spoken to you in a while. This is a great sample dialogue for somebody that you may have let get away. I was driving in your neighborhood today. I realized I haven't spoken to you in a while. In fact, I've been meaning to call you, and decided today I was just going to pick up the phone and say hi. So how are you? How are things going? That's a great script, by the way, to use with a client that you've lost touch with. Ask yourself, how do you make this script your own? How will you turn it into a voicemail message? How would you turn this into a text message? Guys, when you get, I really recommend this on all calls, prospecting too. Some people don't like to talk on the phone, and they're going to hit that decline button no matter who it is. This is how they are. Drop a voicemail and then send them a text message. You'll be shocked to see how many of them actually text you right back, because they're more comfortable with texting. Again, I'm 53 years old, so I'm a little bit older than most. I prefer texting. Most people in my generation, and certainly the generations that are older than me, they're more phone people, right? But if you're talking to me and you get to know me, you're going to learn that I'm going to be much more apt to want to text you than I am to call you. Not you guys, of course, being realtors, but people in general. What if somebody's 40? What if somebody's 20, 25? They don't take any calls. They don't use voicemail. They text. They message. Learn to use these things and integrate them. So I didn't get the person on the phone, I'm going to leave a voicemail, and I'm going to shoot a text. You can keep the texts, and should keep the texts written out, so you can just copy and paste. Fill their name in on the text. Personalize it if you have to, but have all these texts pre-written so it happens very quickly, so you can get to your next call. Take time to celebrate. Mark your accomplishments. Rate yourself on the attitudes and actions from 1, I haven't started, or 5, and I want you to celebrate this. You consistently take action. And I want you to celebrate these as they move up the scale from 1 to 5. Number 1, do you tell everybody you meet you're in real estate, no matter who it is, where it is, when it is? You have something that identifies you on your car. I have 3 magnets. I have an old truck that I use. I call it my Home Depot truck. I just use it when I go to Home Depot or whatever. Got a magnet on the front, magnet on the tailgate, and magnet on the other side. I should have said front, on the 2 doors and on the back. Scared the heck out of me after I had first done it. I'm like, why is somebody taking a picture of my car when I was driving in front of my truck? When I was driving in front of them, they were scanning my QR code. It works. Park in places that are conspicuous if you do this. Don't try to find the spot that's closest. Find the spot that's out there. I have an agent. He's a soccer coach. His son plays soccer, and his son hates him because he parks right at the entrance, and they have to go walk all the way across the parking lot. But he does it because every car that comes in and out of the parking lot has to see his magnet on his car. It works. Remember, when I give, they give back. So I continuously communicate my value with my sphere, so they're more likely to refer me and welcome my calls. I build trust through personal connections. Are you doing this? So I'm the person they call when they are someone they know has a real estate need. And remember how much your words matter, guys. Do you practice your scripts every day? I practice my scripts so that they're concise and I save time. So I sound more professional. So I sound like I know what I'm saying. And so I'm prepared for every situation. The more you do this, guys, the better you're going to be and the more you're going to know. Quick story on this. Years ago, I was teaching. I taught it a couple times at this point. This was like 2015 or 16. So I was new, have most of these trainings that I wrote were new. Not this one. This one I just wrote in the last year. But I had my objection handling success, which we do as part of this course. I have one called the 6 Baker technique. And the way that conversation goes, it tells a story. I like telling anecdotes. That works best for getting people to overcome objections. Guy called me and wanted me to do an open listing. I'd never practiced this, never done this, but I taught it enough times that it came to my head. I said, well, let me ask you a question. Pretend you had a daughter and she was turning 16 and you wanted the absolute best cake for her. So you went to 6 bakers in town. You told them you were going to 6 different bakers. And you said to the bakers, whoever bakes me the absolute best cake, I'll pay you absolute top dollar for it, but I'm only buying the one cake that's the best. How many of those bakers would start baking, knowing how much time they're going to spend, this, that, whatever, and that they only have a 1 in 6 chance of getting the sale? They're going to spend money on materials, this, that, whatever. He said, probably none of them. So it's the same with real estate. When you give a listing to everybody, they're not committed to you. You want one person that's completely committed to, just like that one baker would make you the absolute best cake if you paid him top dollar. Guy ended up listing with me. I hadn't even practiced. It was just from the things of teaching it through these classes. You guys can be much stronger, and these things will come right to your head, just like that story came to me, if you're practicing these things over and over and over. Take action, guys. Reach your number of contacts every day. If you don't know your number, you need to take my very first class, Business Planning Success. You should know the number of people you need to talk to each day in your marketplace at the price point that you sell on average, to know how many you need to talk to reach your financial goals. For us in the Tampa Bay area, it takes about 6 contacts a day. Our average price point here is $434,000. It takes 6 a day, 30 people a week to make $100,000 a year. I know that because I write business plans, and that's one of the most common numbers for people in their first year. Your number, you need to know your numbers. If you don't know them, attend that class. You can take them on my website. Again, we have that class on demand right now, and the breakout session with the I have a written one that's in the additional materials. There's also a Excel spreadsheet on there that you can open, and it does the math for you. You just have to fill out the 3 red brackets. Your amount of money you want to make, the average number of people, and your commission percentage. Put those 3 numbers in. It'll automatically tell you how many people you need to talk to each day and each week. Make sure you know that number and you reach that number every day. Continually be evaluating yourself. This time of year, again, people write business plans. They should already be done, but they're not, but they should. What do? They write the plan for the year and then they set it aside. They start working on it when they first start in January, and what happens? They lose sight of it. Don't just write in 12 months, I want to sell 30 houses. I want you to break that down. Let me change that number. In 12 months, I want to sell 24 houses. I'm making the math easy on me. Or 36 houses. What does that mean? It means I need to sell 3 houses a month. Well, am I pipelined in January? This is why you need to do this in October. Am I pipelined in January to have 3 closings? What about February? What about March? What about April? And I want to look at the end of each month. How did I do reaching all these goals? Did I reach my 3? If not, I got to pop another one in maybe for March or April to get caught up. Continually look at your goals, evaluate, adjust, and lock those goals in. As you make your daily contacts, jot down the bright spots and the challenges. Remember, you're going to have good days and bad days. You're going to have good weeks and bad weeks. It's all part of the game. It's power of numbers game. Be prepared to share and learn information from your experience. I have that on Friday. It's now on Thursdays here at our morning grind. Thursday, 11 o'clock. This same very Zoom. Just jump on. Add to your SOI daily. As I said, you can have all these great things in a day. If you didn't add somebody new to your SOI, guess what? You should go to bed with a pit in your stomach knowing you missed something. Add every day. Complete the who do you know that I gave you in the first week or two of trainings. Always be writing down people that you meet. Get their email, get their phone number, and get them on that every 4-week program, unless then you have a need now. Then put them on a plan for whatever that need is for now. Improve your skills. Make script mastery, we call it conversation mastery now, a daily routine. It doesn't have, you don't have to come into the class or jump on whatever, or go into your office. You can do it with a partner. Make a commitment with that partner. Find somebody that's as committed as you. Start at 15 minutes a day. If you do more time or you need more time, do it. But make it a daily habit. Questions and comments. And while I'm doing that, I'm going to dismiss our people that are on